Good evening. Welcome to the Check-in Report. I am your humble host, True and Livin, and this is the Check-in Report. Let me hit my bell one time. This one time, just for the people that's never been here. Today's topic, we are here to talk about Hassan Campbell. He has made an appearance on DJ Vlad's couch. And we're here to talk about, we got some videos to get to. I got a lot to go through. We got a lot to talk about. But if you don't know Hassan, popular YouTuber, this man has been in debacle. He has been in scandals. He has been in drama on YouTube over and over and over. He gained prominence on YouTube. Shout out to Star, shout out to Sonetta, shout out to Dorky Diamonds. But he gained prominence by talking about Africa Bambaataa and him being victimized by the hip-hop pioneer Africa Bambaataa. That has been his story. That's what he has been said. And through the years, he has adjusted. He didn't keep talking about Africa Bambaataa. He started talking about Jim Jones. He starts talking about Mano. He starts talking about Troy Ave. And ultimately, Hassan has turned into a hip-hop media guy. He's a media guy. At this point in juncture, Hassan is a hip-hop media figure, right? So he has finally made his appearance on DJ Vlad, and I'm going to be watching this interview very attentively. Only part one has come out. We will be playing part one of that interview, but I will be watching all of the parts of this interview that will be coming out very shortly, and I will be watching. We're gonna actually react. We're gonna be reacting to Hassan Campbell's and what he said on Vlad TV. We have to talk about it, and I have more stuff to talk about when it comes to Hassan. But I started a poll. I don't know if you guys seen it, but I started a poll on my chat, and I want to ask the question. This is just my question. This is just where I'm at, and I'm very knowledgeable on this whole Hassan Campbell Africa Bambaataa story. I'm very knowledgeable, but I want to ask the question right off the bat, and this is for people that's in the rebroadcast as well. So if you're in the live stream right now, please be a part of the poll, and if you're watching this in the rebroadcast, I also want your thoughts. Was Hassan Campbell and Africa Bambaataa in a legal relationship? Were they both in a relationship? Because, the story as it goes is Hassan Campbell, he grew up in the Bronx River. He was a part of Bronx River. He was a child that grew up in poverty. And, Hassan consistently says he doesn't know when it started. He doesn't know when Bambaataa came in his life. It's very vague. It's very foggy, right? It's a very foggy memory when it started, even when it ended. Even when his relationship ended with Bambaataa, it's very foggy for him. But were they in a relationship? Do you think all this time Hassan has been capping? Were the two intimately involved at some point? I'm just gonna throw that out there. That's just my opinion. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Shout out to Trenches. I see Trenches is in here. Shout out to Trenches. But we want to know, is the man, has he been involved with him? That's just my theory for right now. But let's get into this video of Hassan Campbell on Vlad TV. We have to get into that. I think it's of critical importance that we do. We have to talk about that. We also have another video we have to get to in regards of this whole thing, man. We have to talk about it. But, I just want to lay that theory out there. I'm just asking that question. And I'm going to circle back around to that theory, because it's not going to be in this first clip, but it will be in my second clip. I'm going to circle back to that question in regards of Hassan Campbell and Bambaataa being in a legal relationship. But let's get to this video and let's play it. And let's talk about it.
All right, here we go. Today we have one of the most controversial figures on the internet, Hassan Campbell. Welcome to Vlad TV.
Finally. Let's go.
Well, I want to get into your whole story, but before I do, something very serious happened recently, so I want to cover that. So
now I want y'all to listen to how he talks about this story. Listen to how he breaks down this story, because even Vlad was kind of like, he was kind of befuddled. He was like, what is this dude talking about? Like, this story just not adding up. He's going to talk about when he got shot out in Bronx River. I want y'all to hear him break down this story. Let's get to it.
So what exactly happened in the Bronx about a week ago or so?
Well, I found myself in a very, very depressed state. I was in the house. I was actually like going over to Cassie in the P. Diddy situation. And
he was mad that Cassie got a bag, right? Let's break that down real quick. He was mad that Cassie got a bag and he didn't. He was mad that Cassie got a big payday from Diddy, but when he allegedly was victimized by Afrika Bambaataa, he never got a payday. That's what he was mad about. He can spin it as much as he want, but that's what it was really about.
And it took me back to a bad place with the Afrika Bambaataa story. So for me, after drinking all night, like literally all night, I found myself in Bronx River, setting up my camera and just venting. Like, I really pretty much was just letting off some steam, because I feel like the elders in Bronx River Projects failed me.
Shout out to Jadero. I see my man Jadero's in here. Shout out to Jadero.
So I went back to the original place of where my pain started.
Jadero says, crazy. I just coming on here to watch the interview. Mr. Snotbox himself. Yeah, we're gonna get into Mr. Snotbox himself, Jadero. We're gonna get into it.
The home of Afrika Bambaataa, the home of myself. And in the process of that, I already had some tension with the neighborhood. So with me calling dudes out and just...
Now, let me just stop right here, right? Let me just break something down, right? Keep in mind, he went to Bronx River to yell at the people in Bronx River about what happened to him back in the 1980s, right? Because he was living in there. He was living in the Bronx River in the 1980s. He grew up in the 1980s in the Bronx River. Now, let's break that down. The people he grew up with, the elders, right? The elders, some of the older people, some of the kids, some of the adults do not live in Bronx River anymore. It's a whole new generation. Now, don't get me wrong, it's probably a few people that are still there, that he grew up with, that he used to see. It's probably a handful of people there, I'm sure. But that generation of people that were there, they have moved on. Some of them have moved on, some of them has transitioned into the next phase of life, to the afterlife. Some of those people have moved because they realized that neighborhood was a bad place to grow children in. So he's yelling at people that don't even know or don't even relate to what allegedly happened to him. Let's get back to that.
My brain was like in suicide mode. I'm outside in the middle of the projects, nothing to protect myself but a pocket knife, and I'm in the lion's den where there's nothing but shooters, calling out the shooters, and they came outside and they shot. And I felt myself hop, skipping, and jumping to the hospital. You know, once that bullet hit me, my brain went to survival mode.
Okay, so let's talk about what led up to this. So you went out to the Bronx River Projects, like you said, where you're from, and you had your friend, Mr. Checkmate, with you, right?
No, he wasn't with me.
Oh, he wasn't.
What happened was he spoke to me on the phone before I got over there, and he heard the state that I was in. So what he did was immediately, once he heard where I was going, he was in a house. He had a stomach virus. He was throwing up. He had diarrhea. So he just ran out of the house. And
now keep in mind, this is the same guy that he's talking about, that we seen him there, right? The guy he's talking about, Mr. Checkmate, that's the guy that was in next to him, bedside, right? The guy that was next to him. If you seen the video where Hassan is in the bed, the hospital bed, that was the guy on his bedside, right? We seen the guy in the video. He's saying that he wasn't there. He's saying that he pulled up after he got shot, right? Make it make sense, Hassan. You know, you're gonna see. Even Vlad is like kind of confused about the story. You're gonna hear it.
Made his way over there immediately, and you know, so now I'm on the camera. I'm looking at my camera, and at some point, I remember him coming up the side of me, and he's like, "Yo, let's get out of here." And I'm still yelling at the camera, so he pointed.
Now, keep in mind, we all saw the video. We seen the video with him yelling at the guy from the window, him throwing the bottles. We seen him with the knife behind his back. We seen him mean mugging people coming out of the building, right? Where in the video did we see the guy say, Hassan, let's get out of here. Hassan, let's get out of here. Where was that at? That wasn't in the live stream that I seen. Is Hassan capping about him being shot? Was it all a publicity stuff? It seemed like, you know, it's not adding up from the story that he's telling. Let's continue, though.
In the direction of the shooters, and I looked and I faced them, and that's when it hit the fan.
Okay, so I saw the video. So you're in front of the projects, and you have your phone set up, and you're screaming, and you're really upset. And at some point, did someone throw a bottle at you?
Yes. Somebody was throwing a bottle out the window, threw a few bottles. And see, now that's how you know I wasn't in my right frame of mind, because the way the bottle hit the floor, if that would have hit my brain, I probably would have been in a vegetable state coming from them higher up floors.
Let me stop right there. Keep in mind, he's saying all of this, right? Oh, if the bottle would have hit my head, I would have been in a vegetable state, yada, yada, yada. You egged on the person to throw the bottle. You told the person to keep throwing the bottles. Throw the bottles. Throw another one out. Throw another one out. Come outside. Throw the bottle. You egged on that person. You don't make it sound like you a victim and you were just standing out there minding your business, recording a video. No, Hassan, you egged on that person to throw bottles at you. What are you talking about? You're making it sound like you was a victim, like you was outside recording a video and somebody just boop hit you upside the head with a bottle. That didn't happen. You were yelling obscenities, cursing, 10 o'clock in the morning. You woke up the shooters, you woke up the drug addicts, you woke up the people that are living there, that are hard-working, tax-paying citizens that just wants a peaceful rest on a Sunday morning. You woke them up, and they dealt with you how they dealt with you. Let's continue.
So now I'm yelling. There's bottles flying at my head, and I'm not budging. And I'm like, kind of saying.
Jadero says, I think he planned it to get more clout, because look, it landed him on Vlad. That's a fact. Ultimately, you know, Hassan wants the clout. Hassan wants all the clout. He wants to be on the Vlads. He wants to be on the academics. He wants to be on the Star. He wants the clout. It's all about clicks for him. It's all about views for him. That's what it's about. That's what it's always been about. He wants the clout. Let's continue.
Come outside. Don't throw the bottle, come outside.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. You egged it on. You egged them on to throw bottles at you. You kept telling them to throw the bottles.
as the bottles is being thrown, distracting me, the shooters is creeping up the hill. So now this is where checkmate comes in, and he sees me, and he makes me turn and look. I look.
We got to pay some bills, y'all. Hold on. Give me a second. We got to pay some bills. We got to pay some bills. Or rather, YouTube has to pay some bills. Give me a second. Boom. All right. We back.
So now the me throwing the bottles being thrown rather at me. Now I turn away from that. Now I'm actually seeing the shooters come up. So when they see me and they see him the way he was positioned, the way I'm positioned, from my reputation, they pretty much thought I had a gun on me. So they was hesitant to actually walk up. So
what they keep in mind, he's saying
halfway through the.
Keep in mind, he says, from my reputation, that's what he says verbatim. From my reputation, they thought I had a firearm on me. Hassan, you haven't lived there in 30 years. You haven't lived there in 20 years. Your reputation, them young boys don't know you. Them young boys don't care about you. You just wilding, cursing at people at 10 in the morning, talking about throwing people's mothers down the stairs, talking about how you're going to delete everyone in the project buildings. What are you talking about? From your reputation? From my reputation, I came, they thought I had a gun. Nobody knew who you was. You was just some wild, drunk, belligerent, old head talking about you going to throw people's mothers down the steps and delete everybody in the project building. And they dealt with you how they dealt with you. What are you talking about from your reputation? Them young boys don't know you.
The projects, like the top of the hill.
Okay. And like I said, I watched the video and you were talking really reckless.
Thank you, Vlad.
Just to be fair. You were like, I'm going to go out with everybody, step out.
Now, keep in mind how he didn't acknowledge none of that. He made it sound like he was a victim. They was throwing bottles. They was throwing bottles out there. I was screaming on the elders that did this to me and they didn't protect me, yada, 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 right? But he in all of that, him breaking down that story, he didn't talk about how he wanted to throw people's mothers down the stairs. He didn't talk about how he wanted to stab everybody in the building. He didn't talk about how he wanted to delete everyone in the building. He didn't talk about none of that. None of that. None of it. Let's continue.
Outside, I don't give a fuck who got a problem. I'm here. I'll stab your ass to death. I'll throw your mother down a flight of stairs. I'll kill everybody. I dare you, etc., etc. Is that accurate?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Wow.
So
no accountability. No accountability to say, you know what, I was wilding. I shouldn't have said that. You know, no accountability whatsoever.
When you were yelling this, were you yelling this at the guys throwing the bottles at you or the guys that were approaching you?
Well, I didn't see the guys approaching me, but for the most part, in my mind, I was like, to be honest with you, it was like I was in a suicide state. I was in a suicidal state of mind in that state, not in the state that I'm in now. The alcohol took me to a dark place of me being molested and me just going through all of the emotions of the people in Bronx River abandoning me, never standing by me, never speaking up in a situation. Like, cause we gonna get into how Bronx River is like Africa Bambaataa was the boogeyman and the hero at the same time. And everybody used to whisper, keep your kids away from them. But they used to see kids with them and wouldn't snatch those kids away from them.
Okay.
Hassan Campbell. Let me just break down what he's saying, right? He's saying, oh, well, actually, let me play it one more time. Let's play it one more time just to clarify what he said.
And Bronx River abandoned me, never standing by me, never speaking up in a situation.
Okay. Bronx River never stuck up for me. They abandoned me. They did all of this stuff, right? Let me just break this down, right? This is the same man who ran to Africa Bambaataa's house. Let's be honest here, Hassan. Like, nobody, Africa Bambaataa, like, it's not like he kidnapped you. It's not like, he hog-tied you. It's not like, it's not like it's none of that had happened. It's not like he threw you in a white van and did these things to you. Hassan, you ran to the man's house. You're running over to the torment. You're running over to the trauma that you're talking about. You're running over to get died. Like you say. You're running there. So what are you talking about? The Bronx River didn't protect me. They didn't look over me. They didn't tell me. They didn't yada yada. Bro, you ran there. You were running to Africa Bambata's house. Like you said, I could play it. I could play the interview where you said your mother kept beating you. Your mother, she used to beat you a lot. So you had to run to Africa Bambata's house. You wanted to run to Africa Bambata's house because it was fun and yada, yada, yada. I'm going to play another clip where you talk about how it was fun over there, right? I'm going to play that clip. But Hassan, you ran over there. Stop acting like the elders, they didn't look over me and yada, yada, yada. The reality is you was a dusty project dude, right? Respectfully. I'm not here to disrespect your humble beginnings. I'm not here to disrespect that. But the reality is you was a dusty project little boy, right? And your mother, she disciplined you a lot. She used to beat on you a lot, right? And you ran to Africa Bambata's house over and over and over and over again. And amongst that, these things happened to you. You got died, respectfully. Not trying to make fun of your what happened to you. But you ran over there. We can't neglect that. So when you talk about the people didn't protect you and yada, 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 it sounds nice. But where's your accountability that you ran over there? Where's your accountability that you wanted to be in Africa Bambata's house after he did these things to you? Where's your accountability? Let's continue.
Like, because we gonna get into how Bronx River is like Africa Bambaataa was the boogeyman and the hero at the same time, and everybody used to whisper, keep your kids away from them, but they used to see kids with them and wouldn't snatch those kids away from them.
Okay, so you're yelling at the dudes at the, in the building that are throwing the bottles, and you're daring them.
Shout out to Trenches. Trenches said, I'm reacting to your live. Yo, shout out to Trenches, man.
To come down and threatening to kill everyone and so forth. The guys start to approach you. Do you know who these guys are?
They had masks on.
Oh, they had masks on. Okay.
Hold on.
They shoot.
Hold on.
Everyone and so forth.
Because we're gonna break down. Because I got a lot to get to. We're gonna break down him breaking down this shooting. We're gonna listen attentively.
Okay. So you're yelling at the dudes at the, in the building that are
You're yelling at the dudes at the building.
Throwing the bottles, and you're daring them to come down and threatening to kill everyone and so forth. The guys start to approach you. Do you know who these guys are?
They had masks on.
Now they got masks on. I didn't hear this in the beginning part of the story. I didn't hear this. Now they got masks on, huh? Where was that at in the beginning of the story? I don't remember that. Now they got masks on, huh? Okay, let's continue.
Oh, they had masks on. Okay.
I didn't hear that. I never heard him say that the two gunmen had masks on. Never heard that.
And they shoot you while you're standing there, or when you're actually in the car?
That's a good question.
While I'm standing there. See, that's
so okay. They shot you while you were standing there. Okay, Hassan. So why did the live end? Why was the live edited like that? Why didn't we see two people run up on you like you said and hit you, right? We didn't see that. The live cut right off and it cut to you in the car. It's not adding up.
It's the crazy part about YouTube, because everybody felt like that was edited. When they actually started pulling the guns out, for somehow YouTube just froze that whole part out.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Do you hear this, dude? So YouTube edited. So you trying to tell me, hold on. This dude is ridiculous. You trying to tell me YouTube, just some divine intervention, YouTube just stopped right there and it cut to you being into the car. That's not what you're trying to tell me. This dude is so full of it. You could tell that it was edited. You could tell that it was the way it was cut like that. You could tell. What is he talking about? So wait a minute. Let's break this down. Because that video was like 36 minutes, right? That video, that live that he did was like 36 minutes. 36 minutes of that live is clear. Clear as day. Where he's talking, where he's yelling at the person. All of that footage is clear. So up until that 30 or that 30 time marker, right? Where the whole dispute went down, right? Up until that point, it just miraculously cut off. And it cuts to you in the car. That sounds so ridiculous to me. Come on, bro.
During a live, and then it continued on when I got back in the car. I can't explain that. You have YouTube.
You can't explain it because you're lying. You can't explain it because you're lying, because you're full of it. What are you talking about? You can't explain it. You're a fraud. Bro, I can't explain. I'm sure you can't explain it. Jadero says YouTube got the editors on payroll for exactly. They hired some. The CEO of YouTube personally edited the video for him. Like, what do you want us to believe here? Come on, bro. OG Lee says, how is he got shot around 12 but the 12 minute marker, but didn't get to the hospital or the 12 minutes was the 12 o'clock. You saying, how did he get shot around 12 but didn't get to the hospital until 6? That's what you're saying. I agree. And somebody broke it down. I think it was Ringo. Shout out to Ringo TV. Make sure y'all check out Ringo TV. He broke down the how far the where he got shot was at the Bronx River Projects in the hospital he went to. He broke that down, and he was like, it doesn't make sense. Like it didn't make sense. Like, driving distance, what he was saying. So I'm starting to fall on the belief that he made this whole thing up, because a lot is not adding up. Let's continue though.
We have to explain that one.
Right, because the shooting part you're talking about is not actually on video.
No.
Okay. And was it 2 shots?
Here we go. Was it 2 shots, Hassan? How many shots was it? How many shots was it? Because they pulled one bullet out of you, right? As you say. How many shots was it? Let's hear it.
I believe it was on 4. But
it was 4 shots now. I remember when he said they shot him once. I remember in the video he said they shot one time, right? They hit him. They threw the gun back. That's another thing. We're gonna talk about that. He's claiming that they shot him, and then they was playing patty cake with the gun. Oh, you take it. No, you take it. You take it. No, you take it. Like they was playing hot potato with the gun. That's what he was saying, right? Let's continue though.
The police only recovered 2 shells.
Oh, so the police got involved, right? So wait a minute. Okay, now wait a minute. This opens up a whole new debacle now. So who called the police? Did you call the police? Big YouTuber. Did you call the police? Mr. I Rock Your Snapbox. Did you call the police? Who called the police? Right? Did the police show up after you left in the car or before you left in the car? Because listen, Hassan, the more you talk, the more deeper the rabbit hole is gonna get for you. All right. The more questions we got to ask. When did the police show up? Did the police question you? Because and now that you said the police showed up and they recovered a shell, then hey man, we all know those project buildings. Listen, those project buildings, they have video cameras. Is there video of you being shot? Is there video evidence that you were shot? The rabbit hole is going to get deeper, Hassan, the more you talk. Those project buildings have video cameras. Where's the evidence that you got shot, Hassan? Let's continue.
Okay. So 4 shots get fired. You get hit in the shoulder?
Right here. and the bullet traveled to my back over here, and that's where it was taken out at.
So now he's saying that the bullet hit him in the arm and it traveled through his back. Okay, right? Keep in mind, I wish I had the picture, but we all saw the picture. I think academics posted it. He had a picture where he had like some bandages on his arm. We didn't see no bandages on his back. It was bandages on his arm. So now he's saying that it went through his back and his arm. That's what he said. Let's continue.
Okay. Have you ever been shot before?
Yeah, I've been shot prior to this. So when I was shot in the year 2000 I was shot before. And when
we got 6 people in here. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. We got 6 people in here. Shout out to everybody in the clouds. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Let's continue.
when I got to the hospital and they did the x-rays, they was kind of confused because there was, more than one bullet. I actually have bullets in me, so yeah.
Okay. So you've gotten shot before, so you've been through this situation somewhat.
Yes.
So once you get shot and you got your man with you, what happens to the shooters? Do they run off or do they want to finish the job?
Well,
Now let's hear him break this down. What happened to the shooters, Hassan? Let's hear him break this down.
after
He think it's funny. He think it's funny that 2 young boys put hot lead in him. He think it's a laughable offense.
the shooter shot, it was two guys, one gun. Unless the other one didn't pull his gun out, they started passing the gun back and forth. And
Now, tell me if that makes sense. You trying to tell me that 2 dudes, they came out, right? They were gangster enough to come out the building, run down on you, shoot 4 shots like you said. One of them hits you, right? So you mean to tell me that they were gangster enough to come out their buildings, point a gun at you, shoot you, and now they're playing hot potato with the gun? No, you take it. No, I take it. No, you take it. No, you take it. They're playing hot potato with the gun. Is that what you want us to believe? Let's continue.
once I seen that, I'm like thinking to myself, like, look at these clowns.
Look at these clowns that just put hot lead in me. Yeah, look at these clowns that just put hot lead in me, and I'm in a car talking to my stomach burning. Oh, this dude is delusional.
That's all I could think to myself. Like, they sent amateurs. These dudes couldn't even finish the job. You walking up on a dude that's 47 years old.
Hassan, where's the proof that any of this happened, bro? And listen, I'm not letting him off the hook. He said in the interview that the police recovered 4 shells. So in my opinion, I think whoever's watching this, anybody that knows Hassan, anybody that does content on Hassan, y'all need to go call the police department and ask them, hey, did y'all recover 4 shells that they took that y'all got from the scene after Hassan Campbell was shot? Y'all need to do your investigation. Y'all need to ask, hey, y'all need to go to the projects and say, hey, is there any video footage of this man being shot? It's very weird. It's very inconclusive. It's very peculiar. All of it. From the video shutting off miraculously to there being no video evidence. Oh, the shooters played hot potato with the gun. No, you take it. No, you take it. No, you take it. It sounds fabricated. It sounds false. Is Hassan lying? Did he make this whole story up? He talked about it too. Did he just tell himself? Vlad is infamous for having people come on their platform and tell on themselves. Did he just tell on himself just now? Remember, in this interview, he said, "Oh, I had other bullets in me that I had in me," and they were confused, like, "Oh, you got other bullets in you." Did he just have an old bullet lodged in his neck or lodged in his arm or whatever that he needed to be removed? Shout out to Star. Shout out to Troy Terrain. He talked about how he had a bullet removed. Star was shot back in the day. He talked about how he had to get a bullet removed from his body. that was, I guess it was hurting him. I guess, maybe it moved or something like that. But he talked about that. Did Hassan just go to the hospital to get a old bullet removed? And did he just make it seem like he got shot in the Bronx River? Did this dude just tell on himself? Let me know. How y'all feel about it? Do y'all think he possibly told on himself? I think he might. It's possible that he may have told on himself. Trisha says he's the real definition of a studio gangster. Jadero says masked gunmen out here to get him. I'm stuck on the hot potato. I'm stuck on the no, you take the gun. No, you take the gun. No, you take the gun. No, you. It just doesn't make sense. 2 dudes, 1 firearm. They were gangster enough to leave their project, apartment, walk down the stairs, go up to Hassan, clap him, right? And now the guy just turns into the most coward of cowards and no, you take the gun. No, you take the gun. No, you take. It just doesn't make sense. That's what he wants us. That's what he wants us to believe. That's what he wants us to believe. But listen, man. I think people need to do an internal investigation on this dude because something ain't adding up here. It ain't adding up to me. Now we have another video to get to. Right now, this is not Vlad. This is an old video. This is from Layla Wills. And we're going to get into the backstory of Hassan Campbell. Right? We're going to get it. This is going to be a long stream. I'm going to let y'all know right now because this is a 33-minute. And in this video, right? Let me just break this down for y'all in this video. Like I said, this video comes by way of Layla Wills. Layla Wills, she did a documentary on Zulu Nation and Africa Bambaataa, right? She wanted to expose what was going on in Bronx River and what Africa Bambaataa was doing in that neighborhood. I think the name of the documentary is called "Trapped in a Culture," right? Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation. That's the name of the content, right? So I'm gonna play this video and listen to him break down. And I thought one part of this interview was very interesting, what he said. And it goes back to what I said in the beginning of this stream. Was Hassan Campbell and Africa Bambaataa in a relationship? I'm going to stop it I'm going to stop a portion. There's going to be a portion of this video that I'm going to stop. And you're going to be like, yo, you know what? You may have an argument there. But let's play this audio. Let's play this clip. Let's get into this Layla Wills interviewing Hassan about the trauma and the violation that he experienced in Bronx River. Let's get to that.
House, like, was it school, like would it be like summertime or
Hold on.
household, and how did you go to school and and a typical day not in your household?
So she's asking him what was a typical day in Bronx River in your household? She's asking him that.
But a typical day, how you would end up at Bambaataa's house.
A typical day that you would end up at Africa Bambaataa's house.
Like, was it school, like would it be like summertime, or would you go to school and then
And I also want y'all to know, look at him. This was before the big YouTuber money, right? Look at him. he got on a Target V-neck, got a low tape on, He didn't have that YouTube money then. This is early. And now I also want y'all to look at this video. In one part of the video, he says, "Oh, I'm a little camera shy." You see how he's in the video now, right? You see how he's holding the camera now, right? He more in the camera than Diddy. We're gonna get to it though. Let's continue.
You end up over there. So let's talk about a typical day in your household and how, through at some point in that day you would end up at his house. Because the way it sounds
Typical day that you would end up at Africa Bambaata's house.
to me is that was kind of like a regular hangout, not just for you, but for quite a few kids.
Growing up in Bronx River, pretty much.
We got 7 people in here. Make sure y'all like this video. Make y'all subscribe to the channel. Again, we got 7 people in here. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Let's continue though.
How it would go, the music, the parties, the neighborhood tough guys, the Zulu Nation, everybody pretty much claimed to Bam because of who he was, because of the Zulu Nation, and everybody that you looked up to was a part of the Zulu Nation. So that was the magnet for Bam. You had the Zulu Nation, the meetings where we would gather once a week and have the universals or whatever the case may be, and pretty much, Bam was a celebrity. Everybody looked up to him.
Now keep in mind, she's asking him what was a typical day growing up in the Bronx River and dealing with Africa Bambaataa.
Did positive things, said positive.
Now keep in mind, all of this sounds positive. All of this sounds good. I haven't heard not one tormental. I haven't heard one, act of violation, one act of being thied, one act of being, violated in the hood. It all sounds like a good time. It was positive. Africa Bambaataa was a celebrity. Everybody came by. Everybody was together. Everybody liked Bam. Where's all the trauma that you talk about? Where's all the violation that you talked about? He look at him. Look at him on the screen. He's grinning ear to ear right now. He's smirking and all of that. He got fond memories of hanging out with Bam. Right? Let's continue.
Positive things. He had a lot of.
But I'm talking specifically like you're 12 years old.
She had to stop this dude. She had to stop him. Like, wait a minute. She had to stop him. Like, wait a minute. We're doing a documentary talking about what Bambaataa did to you, like, violation wise, and if he touched you, if he did this or that to you. I mean, you over here talking about the positive things, like, oh, we went to the candy store, we got lollipops, and Bambaataa, he looked out for all his memories sound like they were fond memories. I haven't heard him say nothing negative yet. She had to stop him. Like, whoa, come on now, brother. You making Bambaataa seem like he's Captain America. Let's continue.
So, like, when I think of me being 12 years old, I wake up, might turn on some cartoons or might do whatever, and then go outside to play with me and my friends did Barbie dolls and things like that. So I'm really trying to get.
Jadero said he's matching. Jadero said no matching fitteds and funny jewelry. Exactly. He didn't have that Def Jam Vendetta jewelry in this. Hassan got that Def Jam Vendetta. He got that Def Jam Fight for New York jewelry and oversized fitteds. Hassan dressed like he comes straight out of Def Jam Fight for New York. This is before all that YouTube money. He had on a Target V-neck. It was no Def Jam Vendetta jewelry. This is before all of that money. Let's continue though.
To a typical day in a child's life where he would be victimized by.
We got 9 people in here. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the content. Let's continue though.
A predator, not really Bambaataa. Well, it is Bambaataa, but you know what I'm saying? Like how
okay,
when you were that age, your life at that age, and kids, even though something may be going wrong with them, kids are still happy. Like, sometimes you don't know what's going on. So I'm really trying to get to how, as a 12-year-old, you would end up at that apartment. Like,
that's a good question. At 12 years old, how do you end up at that apartment? How do you end up there? Keep in mind, his story is that, it was Stockholm syndrome. I was running away from my mother and she was beating on me, so I used to run to Bam's house as an outlet. That's his story. That's how you got there, Hassan? Let's continue. Let's talk about it.
Like how that would happen through a day or the weekend, or you know what I'm trying to say? You get it?
You know what? It's weird because I don't really remember the first time I went to Bam's house.
Wait a minute. You don't remember? Because he talks about it vividly. I got died. Africa Bambaataa, he had me in the room with this dude. He had me in the room with this boy. Vividly. But you don't remember the first time, allegedly, he might have done something to you? Come on, Hassan. Was it that maybe you was in love? And I want y'all to look at his face as he's breaking down these stories. He's smirking. He got a smirk on his face right now. She asked him about how was his life as a 12-year-old boy growing up in the Bronx River, knowing Bambaataa. He had nothing but fond memories. When she had to stop him. But let's continue though.
But what I do remember is my mother be sending me to the store, and I supposed to come right back from the store, and I would always end up at his house. I would take.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Keep in mind, your mother, she sent your stank behind to the store. Go to the store, little nigga, and go get mama some bread. Go get mama some eggs. Go get mama some milk. What did your disobedient behind do? You ran to your boyfriend's house. You ran to Bambaataa's house. You skedaddled. Your mom is over here. Where's that boy with that eggs? Where's that boy with that bread and that milk? He's at Bambaataa's house. I want that to sink in for y'all, because all of these stories of him being violated, Africa Bambaataa did this and that to me and yada yada yada. To me, it sounds like it was consensual. To me, it sounds like you ran over there. To me, it sounds like, honestly, let's really talk about it. Let's really get through this. Because he's been capping about these stories, man. He's making it seem like, Bambaataa was a big bad boogeyman, and he just, he was grabbing up children, throwing them in white vans, grabbing children, duct taping them, throwing them in abandoned buildings. He's making it seem like that. It sounds like you was running to the man. You was running into his arms. And let's be honest, let's talk about the hood. In the hood, we've seen it before. We've seen when that old head, right? That old head, he pulls up to the high school. He might be 30 years old. He pulls up to the high school in his new car. And he go back, he call up one of his little 14-year-old girlfriends. Hey, get in the car. We've seen that in the hood. Where the old head messed with the young girl, right? Is that the scenario what happened to Hassan? Is that the scenario what happened to, was Hassan just a young preteen or young teenager that had an older boyfriend? Was that the case? Was that the case? Because in this story, you just heard him say he ran to Bam's house. His mother sent him to go get eggs and milk and bread. He ends up at Africa Bambaataa's house. Let's continue.
My time.
Now, as for his house, if you left your building to go to the store, his house you're passing his house, or do you have to go out of your way to his house? Like how? And then
I would actually have to pass. Going to the store, I would.
Jadero says that's a fact. That's a fact. It's real, man. It's real. We gotta take it to the hood. We've seen that in the hood. We've seen where the old head mess with the young girls in the hood. The old head, he be 30, he be almost 40, pulling up to the high school, pulling up to the junior high school, and there's some little young fresh girl hopping in his car. We've seen that before. Was that the case with Hassan? Was he just a fresh, zesty little boy, respectfully, running to Bam's house? Was that just the case?
would walk maybe, let's say, 250 feet to his building, and the store's past.
That's a lot. That's a lot of feet. 250 feet. That's a minute. That's a nice little breeze of a walk. That's a breeze of a walk, man. That's not down the block.
Past his building, so I had to walk past his building to get to the store. And
so instead of doing what your mother told you to do, and your mom was trying to protect you too. I don't know if you realized that. Your mom sent you to go to the store. She didn't send you to go to Bam's house to get something from Bam's house. She sent you to the store. What did your little zesty behind you do? Respectfully. He don't want to deal with the accountability of this situation. And that's why he's crying in Bronx River. That's why he's acting the way he's acting on YouTube. Because he don't want to deal with the accountability of his part of it. Your mama sent you to the store. She didn't send you to Bam's house to get died, as you said. That's something that you did on your own account. That's something that you did disobeying your mother. That's something that you did.
Bam house was the fun house. It started off being it's the hip hop house.
Hold on. Bam house was the fun house. Bam house was the fun house. Bam house was the hip hop house. Keep in mind, this is the same house he's getting died in, right? His thighs getting violated, all types of lubricant and Vaseline and, and cocoa butter, They're switching up the nights. One night was Crisco. Another night is olive oil. Another night, they probably put some Lupiderm. This thigh's getting all types of violated. He's running to this house. He's calling it the fun house. He's calling it. Oh my goodness. Come on, man. I need a drink of water. Hold on. This is too much. This is too much. This is too much. Let's continue though.
Parties, everybody that you looked up to is always there. It was fun. It wasn't always like it started off a bad thing. Bam was a hero.
We got 8 people in here. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the content. Again, we got 8 people in here. Shout out to everybody in the clouds right now. We got 8 people in here. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure you're subscribed to the content. Let's continue though.
That's okay.
Bam was a heroic figure in our community.
See, I don't know if y'all saw that, but he was choking up. He was choking up talking about Bam body. He was choking up talking about, he had some underlying feelings. He's got a little emotional talking about him.
So to be around him, to do the parties and just hanging out at his house, it was fun. Everybody was there.
Keep in mind, it goes back to what I said. It all sounds positive. He's saying, I went to Bam's house. It was fun. I went to Bam's house. We had a good time. It was the fun house. He says it verbatim. It was the fun house. But he's talking about Africa Bambaataa was the big bag booty man. Africa Bambaataa is the big monster. Africa Bambaataa, he did this to me. He did that to me. Make it make sense, Hassan.
So when you were there, it would be. I heard a lot of the discourse and going back and forth. So everybody, especially the black space, we didn't deal with age back then. So it would be like all ages. And is it mostly young men there? Like, were any girls hanging out there at all?
That's a very good question. That's one of the best questions I've heard in a long time. Lila Will just asked him, was there any girls around? Like there's any because think about it. I want y'all to realize this. Hassan, the around the age that he's talking about, where he was like, going to Bam's house and running there, we're talking roughly 12, 13, 14, possibly 15, right? Now, I've been 12. I've been 13. I've been 14. I've been 15. I was thinking about girls. I wasn't trying to hang out with. I want to hang out with my friends. I want to have fun. Don't get me wrong. But I want to see some women. I want to see some girls. Right? Now keep in mind, he's running to Bam's house. These things are happening to him. He's allegedly getting thied. Bam is doing he's violating him, doing these weird things to him, right? But he's calling it the fun house. And Lila Wills asked him, was there any girls there? Was there any girls around? Let's continue.
I mean, when you go to Bam house, you might see anybody around. I've ran into Queen Latifah in Bronx River, Ice-T, Ice Cube, all types of...
He's talking about celebrities. She asked him, was there any girls around? He's talking about... Keep in mind, I want y'all to realize, make note of it, how he just ran over that question. He just skipped right over that question. Lila Wills asked him, was there any girls around? Were there any women around? He starts talking about Queen Latifah, Ice-T, Tony Love was there. Where were the women? Where were the girls? You mean to tell me you're running over to a house to get thied, violated? Where were the girls at? And it calls into question, was Hassan just a zesty little boy, respectfully, running over to Africa Mbata's house? Let's continue.
All types of celebrities being with Bam. So
he's talking about celebrities. Where were the girls? Where were the women?
You might see anybody in Bam's house. Everybody loved Bam.
Everybody but girls.
Okay, so let's talk about when the abuse would happen. And I remember the video you did of that kid who had like mentally not developed or whatever. I'm trying to see it.
Again, we got 8 people in here. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the content. We got 8 people in here. Make sure you subscribe to the content. Make sure y'all like this video. Let's continue though.
I'm trying to see.
Yes, it probably is.
Okay, I was like, I see something.
Sweat.
You know what I'm trying to get to is how it would happen, and if it was that many.
She's trying to like really get it out of him because he's like really dancing around the whole thing. Like he's not really getting to it. Let's continue though.
People around, are they around when it's happening? That's what I'm trying to understand without trying to put words in your mouth. I'm trying to see what was going on.
Now listen to what he says.
Okay, I gotta get over the nervousness of the camera.
Okay.
He has to get over the nervousness of the camera. This is the same guy with a tripod in the middle of the hood. Same guy with a tripod in the middle of Bronx River projects, yelling at the top of his lungs how he's gonna throw people's mothers down a flight of stairs. This is the same guy that's on Vlad TV. Same guy that was on DJ Academic's podcast. Same guy that was on Sinetta's channel. Same guy that was on Doggy Diamond's channel. Same guy that was on Sinetta's channel. But when he gets put on the spot and asked hard questions, he has to get over the nervousness, huh? It's interesting. Very interesting.
That's what it is too. All right. So well, I'll give you one of the first situations with Bam being in his house. It was me and a few of my other close friends, and we was in the weight room, in the middle room, the room next to the bathroom on the 7th floor. There was a weight room in there.
Now I'm gonna break down this story, right? I'm gonna break down this story because every time I hear this story, I'm just like, what is this dude talking about? All right, is he serious?
Yeah, and we was lifting weights in the room, and Bam would come into the room and basically say, hey, let me take a picture of you guys. And then, we take a picture, we flexing our muscles, showing our muscles and stuff. So then he gets real creepy with the, hey, why don't you take off your shirt? Then we all feeling kind of funny, and he's convincing us to take off our shirt to show our muscles. And, shortly after that, we would leave.
All right. Let me break down this story, right? Do you know what this guy just did? You know this guy just broke down a whole episode of Different Strokes. Anybody that knows the popular show 1970s Different Strokes with Gary Coleman, there's an episode of that show called The Bicycle Man, right? Do your Googles. He's talking about exactly what happened in that episode. In that episode, Gary Coleman and a friend of his are working out in like some Bicycle Man's basement or whatever, right? The Bicycle Man is he's a predator. He comes in the room, he takes pictures of the kids' muscles as they were working out, right? And then, they feel weird about it. I think the Bicycle Man shows them some type of pictures. They feel creeped out, they leave. That is exactly what he just said. Do your Googles. Do your Googles on Different Strokes, Bicycle Man. Watch that episode. It's the same exact story. Is he capping about that story? Did he just watch an episode of Different Strokes? I'm starting to believe that, because I heard him say this story before. And I was like, yo, isn't that an episode of Different Strokes, The Bicycle Man, where it's like some predator bicycle guy, he tries to like do something weird with Gary Coleman and his friend? Do your Googles. The Bicycle Man, Different Strokes. Did he just take that story from the Different Strokes? Let's continue though.
Then from there he starts putting the porno on, letting the porno play and telling you that, you're supposed to jerk off. That's how he breaks you in. You're supposed to jerk off. This is what you're supposed to do as a man. Then he pops the picture book open. And now when he pops the picture book open, it's like, whoa. You seeing, I'm not gonna call no more names out because I pretty much.
You call names out all the time. You call out names all the time. Why now you don't want to call names?
Heard a lot of people doing that, and I promise I wouldn't do it no more. It's inconsiderate, because when you look at the picture book, the people in the picture book was actually underage. Now most of them, that I looked up to may have been 10 years older than me. So you actually see the stair steps. Some of them 5, some of them 10, some of them, you get what I'm going as far as like the stair steps. So when you look through the book, you like, whoa, he got this one in the book, he's a killer. He got this one in the book, he's a killer. He got this one. You seeing people that you really look up to.
Stop right there. So Hassan, you want us to believe that all the gangsters, all the hitters was being violated by Bam Bada. None of the dudes in Bronx River that caught bodies, none of the dudes that was out there on the corner slinging rocks, none of the dudes that was putting in work on the gang life tip. You trying to tell me none of them wanted to deal with Africa Bambaataa? Is that what you're trying to tell us, man? Including you, because you claim to be a gangster. You claim to be, I put in work for Zulu Nation and yada yada yada. So including you, none of y'all had the heart to do something to Bam Bada. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
And these are warriors. Like, wow.
Describe what you're seeing in the book. You don't have to name any names, but so what's so wow about it for the audience who may not have heard what you covered with Star on his show?
We got 10 people in here. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the content. Again, we got 10 people in here. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the content. Let's continue though.
What's in the book?
What's in the book is pretty much him taking photos of these guys with their pants down.
Woo! Now keep in mind, these are all gangsters, like he said. These are all, thugs and dudes with bodies. Hassan want us to believe that all of these dudes that were gangsters and dudes with bodies, none of them stood up to Bam Bada. None of them stood up to him. None of them clapped him like they did Hassan. None of them did anything to him. This is what Hassan wants us to believe.
Everybody has their pants down or their butt naked.
Oh my
in the
goodness.
book.
What is the background? Where are these people? Can you tell from or remember from these pictures where these pictures were taken? Like what's behind them, or are they all at his apartment?
In his apartment, in hotel rooms. You can tell from either the apartment or the hotel room.
So if you and your you had to be, you and your friends would have, by the time you were even born, like they're already in the mix. So by the time you're 12 years old, it's already a huge culture going on around him. You see what I'm saying? Like you're not as old as Lord Sharif, where he could say, oh, I was there when this started and when that started. When you become 12 years old, it's already a lot of stuff going on. So when you're at the apartment with your friends and he was
Jadero says all of them in that book were gangsters and homosexuals. You know, that's what I believe. That's what I believe as well. I don't believe that all of those guys in that book were heterosexual men and, you know, gangsters. I think a lot of those guys were just down low. Some of those guys were down low. So I just don't believe it. I don't believe that Bambaataa. So put it to y'all like this. Let's put it to y'all like this. Let's break it to y'all like this. This would be the equivalent, right? This would be the equivalent if there was like some old zesty dude in O Block, right? Some old zesty dude in O Block. All of the BDs out there in O Block. And it was some old zesty dude in O Block. He got a book with all of these so-called gangsters doing weirdo stuff, doing like, you know, little, you know, we got them all in a book. All of the killers, all of the gangsters, all of the top ranking gang members. He got them all in a book doing something weird. That's what that would be the equivalent of. And nobody dealt with him. No one, you know, grabbed the iron and started blazing. Nobody, you know, sharpened up that shank, you know. Nobody did none of that. Nobody did nothing to him. He could walk around the neighborhoods and you know, pick flowers. He can go to the corner stores, get some bread and milk, and untouched. That's what that would be the equivalent. That's what he wants us to believe.
trying to break you all in and grooming you and making you more comfortable, starting with the pictures. Then what would happen? And when you say Bam's house, are you talking about his house at that point, or is this the apartment where he lived with Ahmed?
This is the apartment where he lived with Ahmed.
And so where would he be when these pictures are being taken?
A lot of the times Ahmed would be right, like, this is Ahmed's room, this is Bam's room, just that close. You really, like, you just, I mean, he's right here, not even 3 feet away. So Ahmed would be in the next room, even though, you know, me and Ahmed had a talk and he tried to tell me that, you know, most of the time I wasn't there. There's times he wasn't there, and there's times he was there. I don't care what he say, he knew it was.
Why were you there? Let's get to that. He over here mad at Ahmed. Ahmed said, sometimes I wasn't there, but sometimes I wasn't there. Hassan, why were you there? We talked about how your mother sent you to the store to get bread, milk, eggs. And you know, every time your mother sent you to the store, instead of going to the store, you took your little zesty behind to Bambaataa's house. Why were you there? You know, he likes to point fingers. He likes to point fingers, but he doesn't want to think about it. He goes to Bronx River. He's yelling at people. Y'all allowed this to happen to me and yada, yada, yada. He's pointing fingers at all the people there, all the elders. But he's not taking a deep look at himself and saying, you know what, I need to take accountability. What I did. I need to take accountability for what I did. And again, talking about Ahmed. Right? I think Ahmed was like he used to live with Bambaataa, I guess. I don't know. Something like that. But he's talking about, Ahmed said sometimes he was there, but sometimes he wasn't there. It doesn't matter, Hassan. Why were you there? Why were you there? Why were you running to Bambaataa's house? Why didn't you get the bread and the eggs and the milk like your mother told you to? Let's continue.
Was going on. He was never, the one thing I will say on his behalf, he was never in the room when any of this was going on, but he was there.
You know, another problem that I really, like, I have many problems with this whole thing. Another problem that I have would be how I'm not sure if you said it, but definitely Savage and then another person were talking about another, like he would bring another man in the room and then another man came. So
they in there having boy fun time. Like he said it. Keep in mind. He said, oh, it was fun. It was fun at Bambaata's house. It was like the fun house. No girls. No women. Keep in mind, Layla Wills asked him, were there any girls around? Were there any women around? He starts talking about celebrities. Queen Latifah, Ice-T. They used to pop up every now and then. Layla was like, was there any girls around? Oh yeah, celebrities used to pop up every now and then. But were there any girls around? Were there any girls, young girls that were around your age that you were interested in? Were they around? Then she goes to ask him, he says, oh yeah, it was boys came over. It was different boys. This boy came over, and this boy came over. This boy came over from this apartment. This boy came over from this apartment. Just a bunch of boys going over there. It wasn't no women, no girls. Questionable. Let's continue.
So it's like, how many people, you don't have to name names, do you think was taking part in this? Other adults, other people, and when I say adult, I mean 17 and over, where they could be charged as an adult. Like adults were.
We got 11 people in here. Shout out to everybody in the clouds right now. But make sure y'all hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you wipe your feet on the doormat when you come in the building, all right? But make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's continue.
Participating in this, not just Bambaataa. How many do you think it was?
I can't really give you an actual number, but it was more.
Oh, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You can't give us a number? Let me ask y'all this. Why is all the memories for him so vague? Why he don't remember? He don't remember when he met Bambaataa. He don't remember when it started. He can't tell you who was there or who was older, who was younger, who was this, who was that. He can't tell you none of this. He could tell you about him being thawed though. He could tell you about, like he said, this was the fun house. I had fun. This was the fun house. He could tell you about all the fun times he had, but he can't tell you who was there, who was older, who was allowing this behavior. He can't tell you when he met Bambaataa. Questionable. Very questionable. Let's continue.
Wasn't enough. You see what I'm saying? I would say in New York, Bam had at least about a good 30 brothers that knew exactly what he was doing, that took place in what he was doing.
Hold on. You mean to tell me 30 grown men knew what Bambaataa was doing? He knew that he was oiling up thighs and doing all this weirdo stuff, right? He knew. The 30 brothers knew, and not one of them dealt with him. Not one of them put hands on Bambaataa. Not one of them told him what he was doing was wrong. Is that what you're trying to tell us? Or was it this, Hassan? Maybe you knew all along that, Bambaataa, he was a zesty cat, and maybe y'all had a little, relationship. That's what I'm starting to believe that. I'm starting to believe that this was more like a secret society. I'm starting to believe that, everybody didn't know what was going on. It was kind of in the dark. Maybe a couple, maybe 3 or 4, maybe a handful of cats knew, maybe 3, 4. But I'm starting to think that this was something more intimate. This was something more intimate, Hassan. This is what I'm starting to believe. Let's continue.
Exaggerating, maybe more than that.
But they also took part in it too.
That was taking part. See, I won't say about 30 of them took part with me. I won't say that.
Oh my
From what I've
goodness.
seen and being in that house, it was quite enough of them. More than enough. More than enough of them knew what was going on with him.
Without going, I mean, well, you can go there if you wanted to,
Ridiculous.
because I'm
Pause.
trying to see what did you go through, if you even remember being so young. What kind of changes did you go through after this experience with him? You know, around the first few 1-2 times. Do you remember if you had any changes that your mom may have been able to pick up on, or anybody else?
That's another good question. She's asking him very good questions, because a mother knows her son. She knows when her son is doing something. You know, mother's intuition. That's a real thing. That's real. So a mother could pick up when her son is, you know, something's wrong. Something's going, you know, away. Something's happening to my son on a mental level, on a spiritual level. Let's continue.
Me going through what I went through with Bam, see, what people don't understand is I was already broken in before I got to Bam. I was being molested before Bam even got to me. So it was like, I couldn't really go talk to my mother about it. I didn't know how to talk to her about it. So I just kept it.
My thing is this too, in terms of, he's saying that, you know, this had already happened to him, you know, in other ways, I guess other people had done this to him. My thing is this, right? Why isn't he outing those people as well? You outed. Now he could run to the case of, well, they may be his family member. He don't want to out them or whatever, right? But my whole thing is this: Bambaataa, he said he loved Bambaataa, right? He said Bambaataa was like family. So if Bambaataa was like family, and you love Bambaataa, he's almost like family, right? He's like almost family to pretty much. If you outed out, why you can't out the other people that done this to you? Bring it all to the light. Talk about it all. Bring all the truth to the light, Hassan. That's my thing.
To myself. And the signs probably was there. The bed wetting, because I pretty much was wetting the bed. All types of stuff was going on with me. But going to my mother and actually saying that to her, the first thing
we got 14 people in here. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the content. Again, we got 14 people in here. Make sure you wipe your feet on the doormat when you walk in this building. But make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Let's continue.
I'm thinking about is, all right, I'm going to tell my mother that Bam is molesting me and he has an army around him. There's nothing. My family claims to be tough and they're fighters, but they're no Zulu Nation.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop the record right there. He talking about, oh, I wish I could have told my mom that, I was getting, violated by Africa Bambaataa, but, my family wasn't tough. Africa Bambaataa has an army around him. Hassan, why didn't your mother call the cops? Why didn't you say, Mom, I'm being violated by Africa Bambaataa. He's doing these weird things to my thighs. He's oiling them up with the Lupadorm. He's oiling them up with the Crisco. He's oiling them up with the baby oil. One night it's Cetaphil. Another night it's eczema. I mean, it's not eczema, but he's like, he's pretty much oiling up his thighs all these different nights. Why didn't you go to the police and tell? Maybe Hassan, maybe you had fun. You said out of your mouth, I could replay the audio. You said out of your mouth in this interview, Bambaataa's house was the fun house. Was it all fun? Was it all fun, Hassan? Don't make it seem like, oh, I couldn't run to my mom. Bambaataa has the army. He has the Zulu Nation. They got Navy SEALs and ex-Marines. Don't make it seem like, oh, I was scared because you know, Bambaataa has this army and I came out on him. It would be crazy. Nah, Hassan, don't make it seem like that. The reality is, you had fun. The reality is, Bambaataa had the fun house. The reality is, you ran to that house for those things to happen to you. The reality is, you can't run from this. I'm being honest here. Just being honest. All I'm doing is looking at your story and using critical thinking to combat what you're saying. You said out of your mouth you ran to his house. Your mom sent you to the store. You ran to his house. You said out of your mouth it was the fun house. It was the hip hop fun house. Little Will says, was there any girls around? Nah, there was no girls around, but Queen Latifah used to pop up every now and then, and Ice-T and all these celebrities every now and then, once in a blue moon. But no, there were no girls around. These are things that you said. Take accountability, Hassan. Just say, you know what? I was young. I was a little zesty, respectfully. I did things that I don't agree with. Africa Bambaataa possibly manipulated me as a young man, and I feel bad about what happened. But you don't want to do that as a 40-plus-year-old man. You don't want to take the accountability. You want to make it seem like Bambaataa is the boogeyman. Bambaataa is just this big old monster. But Hassan, you said that you love the man. You looked at him as a father figure. When you went to prison, he was sending you letters, sending you medication for your dogs. When you got out of prison, you went to go visit him. You hung around with him. You did security work for Zulu Nation. When Bambaataa got, I think he got cut by a little kid. You know, he tried to do something weird with. Who did he give that picture to? Who did he give that picture to of that young boy? Who did he give that picture to? He gave the picture to you. You was his hitter. Take accountability, Hassan. Come on.
Nowhere near it. So for me to even go to my mother and say, hey, this is what's going on, it's not, that's not something I was going to do. It's not going to happen.
Okay, let's talk about the Zulu Nation and as an army and that kind of.
Again, we got 14 people in here. Make sure you like this content. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. This is the check-in report, man. It's how we get it in. It's how we get it in all the time. It's how we get it in. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Know what I mean? Take the time out to hit that like button. Take the time out to hit that subscribe button. It don't cost you nothing. It don't cost you a dime to hit that subscribe button. It don't cost you a dime to hit that like button. And if you're feeling in the giving mood, this is the Christmas season. Let me just take the time out of the show because we got 14 people on here. Let me take the time out because this is the giving season. This is December. Christmas is coming up. I know you guys see that Cash App at the bottom of the screen. If you're feeling in the giving mood, give a donation, small donation to the channel. That's all I'm asking. True and Living, Cash App, holla at me, right? If you're in the giving mood, respectfully. Let's get back to the content, but make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's continue.
Kind of thing. Now, I'm from Chicago. I'm from the projects. So I'm not getting it. Like, I don't get it. So you have a person who everybody is, I love how everybody's like, oh, I heard these rumors for decades. I love how everybody's saying it. So you have this person who is rumored to be not only just a closeted homosexual, but he is actually making outward passes at other young men or whatever. I'm not sure, so far I haven't heard anybody admit to, I've heard rumors of him being a child molester for decades. They've only said they've heard rumors of him being gay. So he would surround himself with these hardcore brothers. So where did that leave the rest of the people in the projects who are not in the Zulu Nation? So they're just like, I can't understand why nobody put a stop to this. Like, even people in the Zulu, like, he couldn't have been getting paid that much. Like, they couldn't have been eating that fat off of him.
Here's the thing with the Zulu Nation. For one, most of the Zulu Nation, I'm not going to say he got everybody, but he got damn near everybody. Most of the Zulu Nation went through their phases of being molested by Bam. You'll have some dudes talking about, oh, that's a lie.
And listen, let me say this. The reality is this. Did Africa Bambaataa violate young men in that community? I think it's indisputable. He did. He absolutely did. He absolutely did. I've seen the video. Star did an interview. Shout out to Star again. But Star did an interview with about 4 or 5 men who did an interview. A lot of them didn't want to be, exposed. They didn't want to, have their names out there because a lot of these men, they're around Hassan's age, and all of them don't act like Hassan. A lot of those men, they're grown men with grandbabies, and they have jobs, and they just want to go on with their life. They understand what happened to them was sad, it was wrong, it should have never happened, but ultimately they want to move on with their lives, and I can respect that, right? But so in that essence is, did it happen? Did Africa Bambaataa do a lot of? Did he violate a lot of young men in that community? Absolutely. I think that's indisputable, right? But Hassan Campbell's story, in my opinion, is a little bit different. It's a little gray. It's a gray area. Because he's running to Africa Bambaataa's house. I can't unhear that. I can't unsee that. These are things that he said out of his mouth. Are we supposed to just neglect the facts? Are we supposed to act like we didn't hear that, like we didn't see that? The reality is, Hassan, you have some accountability. The reality is this. Was Africa Bambaataa wrong? Did he manipulate you? Did he violate you? Did he do these things? Yes. And what he did, he needs to be held accountable for what he did to you. But Hassan, you need to take accountability for what you did. You need to take accountability for running over there when your mother didn't tell you to run over there. She never sent you to Africa Bambaataa's house. You ran over there on your own reasoning. You ran over there because you wanted to be over there, respectfully. And deep down inside, that's what it really is. That's why you was cool with him for all those years. You wasn't cool with him because, he was the boogeyman and you were scared and Zulu Nation got the army. You was hanging around with him in your elder years and your adult years because you love the man. You got a lot of love for the man. You got a lot of respect for the man. The man took care of you. The man loved you. I believe Africa Bambaataa loved him as well. But Hassan, you got to take accountability for what you did. You got to take accountability respectfully. And no one is saying that, it deserved to happen. I'm not going to be the one to say that deserved to happen to you. I'm not going to be the one to say that, it deserved to happen to you or I'm not even going to get into the gray area if you liked it or not. I'm not going to get into that. But what we will get into is this. Hassan, you ran over there. That's one indisputable fact when it comes to this Africa Bambaataa Hassan Campbell story. You ran over there. You went over there on your own will. No one forced you. It's not Stockholm syndrome like you said in one interview. You said it was Stockholm syndrome. Nobody kidnapped you. Nobody took you and duct taped you and threw you in a white van. Nobody did that to you. Your mother sent you to the store to get bread, eggs, milk, and what did you do? You went to Bambatta's house instead. And that's an indisputable fact, respectfully. And I'm not here to go in on Hassan. I'm just saying the facts are the facts. Reality is the reality, and it is what it is. You know, we can't. You know, don't get on Vlad's couch and try to make it seem like it's something else, man. That's all I'm gonna say in regards to that. You know, we have to deal with the facts. We have to tell the truth. We have to tell the truth. Shout out to Trenches. Shout out to Trenches, man. Shout out to Trenches. Shout out to Jadero. Shout out to all my mods out there, wherever they are. Shout out to my mods. But in regardless of this story, and you know, I want to say this in regardless. We're about to close out, but in regardless of this story, I just want to let it be known that I don't have nothing against Hassan. You know, I started out as a watcher of his content. I thought it was entertaining. I thought he had a lot to say. I was interested in his story. But as more facts come out, as more things have come out about Hassan and the more things he said, in my opinion, Hassan has to take accountability that, I think the relationship between him and Bambaataa is a little bit gray. It's a lot of gray area. He doesn't have the same story that a lot of people have when it comes to their abusers, when it comes to their, the people that have done these wild and vicious and disrespectful things to them. He doesn't have the same story as, people that have been through these types of things. He said Bambaataa had the fun house. My mom sent me to the store. I didn't go to the store. I went to Bambaata's house. I wanted to be there. That's not the story that most people have when they talk about their childhood traumas of being, being preyed upon by a predator. It's a very different story. And a lot of people that have, a story of a predator, they don't hang around them in their adult years. If they see their predator, if they see the person that did something to them as a child, it's on sight. It's on sight. You hung around Afrika Bambaataa. You were still hanging around him. You did security work for him. This is the infamous photo of you hanging out, and he admitted. So anybody that said, "Oh, the picture could have been computer modified" or all that stuff, listen, he admitted that the picture was real. He admitted it. He admitted that the picture was real. He said he put it up. He said that Bambaataa was like a father figure. Bambaataa was somebody he had a lot of love for him. So, we got to deal with the reality. We got to deal with the facts. But, ultimately, I'm not trying to clap at Hassan. I just want Hassan to keep it real. Take accountability. And get help. Get out of the Bronx River yelling at people drunk, belligerent, at the top of your lungs, talking about you're going to throw somebody's mothers down a flight of stairs. Get out of there. Go get some help, Hassan. Respectfully. And those are my thoughts. Shout out to all my mods, though. Shout out to Trenches. Shout out to Sinclair. Shout out to Nelly. Shout out to Reese. Shout out to everybody in the clouds right now. Again, if you're in the stream, if you're in the clouds right now, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We got 9 people in here. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, man. Thank y'all for joining me. This is the Check-In Report. Live and direct. We out of here, y'all. We out. Let's go.
Welcome to the Check-In Report. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel today.